Well, there were many stories that had a huge impact, and one of those was the discovery of unmarked graves at former sites of residential schools. It has become a moment of change in the country, and hopefully for the better. Lynn Grew is CEO of the Native Women's Association of Canada and joins us live on CP24 Breakfast this morning. Lynn, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us to talk about this. This was the Canadian press voted the story of the year in terms of its significance and the impact it's had. Now, if the unmarked graves on residential schools wasn't discovered, the 215 children whose bodies were discovered in BC, do you think that there would be this nationwide reckoning that we're seeing today?
No, thank you very much for calling me in, and I absolutely don't think we would have this reckoning that you mentioned. I think that it was due to the media, of course, the communities themselves taking their own initiative to do the work and find the remains. But the media had a critical role in bringing this out and what actually happened, and having this recognition across the country. I can say that it's overwhelming for us that are at the grassroots level, what we're hearing, how Canadians have changed their views, and how horrific our past really is.
And Lynn, we know that the federal government established the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Of course, that was hindered by the Prime Minister taking a trip on that day when I think many people would have liked him to see him at several events. Have you kind of forgiven him for that error in judgment?
I'm not. I don't think we've exactly forgiven him for that. I think it was such a gross error in judgment. However, we do have to move on. I don't think that it will happen again. I think the Prime Minister has understood. It was unfortunate, very, very unfortunate, and I think there was some lack of trust. Again, such a difficult year with COVID, pandemic, forest fires, floods, and here we have, some actions that could have been very well received by the community, and it was unfortunate, that this happened. But again, we do have to move on. There's a lot of work to do dealing with mental health crisis in the communities and COVID. So we need to take that into account and hope for a better year next year.
And Lynn, we've heard from several archbishops, the one in Toronto specifically, talk about a visit between the Pope and First Nations leaders. Is there any update on that and whether or not it will be happening given the Omicron situation today?
Yeah, I don't have an update on that, but given the situation with Omicron, I don't see how that would be possible in the short term. I would imagine that that still will need to take place in person at some point. So we'll see what happens with Omicron and how that develops.
And Lynn, can I get your reaction to the recent fiscal update by Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, saying that the federal government is setting aside $40 billion for Indigenous children? This is a result of the child welfare system, which really separated children from their families. What's your reaction to that?
So I'm not a fiscal expert. I'm not sure if that amount is the amount that is required to cover all of the expenses and all of the needs in question. But it certainly seems like a good step forward, and I'm hoping that with Murray Sinclair, who is leading those negotiations, that they will have a successful result. So it's definitely a good sign in the right direction.
Okay, Lynn Grew with the Native Women's Association. Thank you so much for your time this morning to talk about this important issue. Happy holidays and a happy new year to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.